On this episode of RDTV, we're going to take you to Pacific City on the Oregon coast, a little town that used to be nothing and now is just swarming with people. We're going to show you a story I did about 8 years ago on this town, even before it was as popular as it is today. We'll also show you some of the areas around here and a whole lot more, so stay with us. I'm not dead. That sounds like something interesting. My parents bought this cabin that we stay in, 46 years ago. I was 10 years old. I remember we skipped school. My parents were teachers, so they never let us skip school. We skipped school so that we could leave Mrs. Lewis's second grade class, and I could come down to the beach and look at this house that we were going to buy on the Oregon coast. This place has been in our family ever since. It's changed a lot, not only the house, but our family and also the area where it sits. So we're going to show you a little bit about this place tonight. Pacific City used to be a sleepy little place that no one had ever heard of. Now, as you can see by the public parking lot at the beach, Pacific City is on the map in a big way and one of the more popular destinations on the Oregon coast. With popularity comes people, and with people a better economy, but people also bring more problems. Development can be a good thing. Condos and fancy homes popping up along the beachfront are okay. Traffic in the summer is sometimes a nightmare. The Pelican Pub Brewery is a huge draw. People come from all over the country to sip a beer and watch a storm or a sunset in Pacific City. What used to be a few businesses is now a major summer town. Pacific City is a huge draw for surfers. Something about the way the Cape and the Rock work together with the ocean makes for some amazing waves and remarkable conditions. And when you're done, a beer is near. The streets along the Front Street Drive are peaceful now, but this is a Tuesday, and by Thursday they will be lined with cars and packed with people trying to find a way to the beach. Our family home sits right on the front. Growing up here, it was a quiet, peaceful little place. Now it's rarely quiet and not very peaceful. So trade-offs abound as the needs of homeowners, visitors, and business people are ironed out and sometimes collide. One thing that never ceases to amaze me is people who think they can drive on the beach without a four-wheel drive. We watch dozens of folks get stuck, but this guy takes the cake. He drives his fancy car to the edge of the concrete drive that all the cars and boat haulers need to use and just leaves it parked there. And then he goes for a walk on the beach, like it's his private parking space. People were calling the sheriff's department, and this fisherman was really irritated. Finally, after a while, the deputy shows up, and so does the driver, and so does a ticket. I don't know how much being inconsiderate costs, but I hope it was a lot. It's good to know burying people in the sand with their heads still out is still a good idea for children and very acceptable on the beach. Now, these kids are tough. This is how we used to play in the ocean. Nowadays, most kids and adults wear wetsuits. Smart idea, you bet. But Oregonians are supposed to be rugged and tough and individualists, and you just numb to the idea that's part of playing in the beach in Oregon. Dogs will always have a day in the sand, and they will dig and dig and dig. We don't know why. This is just what makes the Oregon coast what it is today. A little too cold most of the time, a bit windy for Southern Californians, and the water, wetsuit cold, just the way we like it. Hey, remember Andrew Zimmern from Bizarre Foods on the Travel Channel? He has a new show called Big Country. And they recently called us and we did a little interview and decided we'd put it on the show. So here's Andrew. Andrew, take it away.
Hey, Rick, great to talk to you today. I think this is something that your viewers in Eugene are going to be really, really excited about. One of the things that I've predicated my career on is the transformative power of travel. After years of making television about getting on the road, I've realized that I'm the best version of me when I'm away from home. I'm a risk taker. I'm kinder. I'm more accepting of other people. I'm more adventurous. You get the picture, right? So what happens when we travel is then we export that back into our home lives and we become better human beings because of it. When US Cellular came to me with the Big Country idea, I jumped at the chance to do it because their idea was something similar to what I've predicated my brand on for 25 years, which is let's take some folks who are nominated by friends and family, who are cash poor, time poor, need a break, circumstances in life don't allow them to travel, and let's take them on an adventure of a lifetime for a day and see if there's a change between when we start in the morning to when we end late at night. And we underestimated the amount of change and the power of that change in those people's lives. We've shot 4 of them. You can watch them at uscellular.com/bigcountry. And we have one more trip yet to take in August. People can go to that same website and nominate a friend or a loved one to come on our last trip with us and experience that transformative power of travel for themselves. And the best thing of all about it is they get to share that as they're having the experience with their friends and family back home, thanks to their phone. So it's a 360-degree experiment in human transformation that I think people are really going to like. If you like food and travel, you're going to like Big Country.
There's something about flying kites and the beach that just seem to go together. I guess it's the wind. You don't have to say a lot. You just add a little music and you sit and enjoy the beauty.
Do you like really scary stuff at Halloween?
I mean really scary. I'm talking zombies, paintball, dark, you and 5 friends. It's happening out in Harrisburg. They did it last year, scared the bejeebers out of people. Nobody under 10 gets in. You should call 541-285-0073. They also have a Facebook page you can check out. And this is every weekend in October, starting Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They're even doing one on the 1st this year because it was so popular last year. This isn't a maze. This isn't some little haunted hayride. This is real scary. So sign up unless you're too scared. Now we take you back in time a few years ago when we visited Pacific City and some other nearby towns that were once listed as Oregon ghost towns. I know, it's hard to believe now. Ghost towns. Some of these are ghost towns, and some of them there's nothing even left there. We'll show you those coming up in the show. And in between those stories, we're going to have an interview with Eugene Mayor Kitty Piercy as she opens the conversation about homelessness, travelers, and what to do about downtown. But first, that not-so-PC story on PC.
It's hard to keep a ghost town to yourself when you're located on the Oregon coast. 40 years ago, here in Pacific City, there was a gas station on the corner, a couple of restaurants, a lot of vacation homes, but it was nothing like it is today.
How do you keep a ghost town from being discovered? Don't ask the folks in Pacific City.
Well, now that's the funniest thing it was nothing. I mean, there were a few houses.
Dorothy Wortman first visited Pacific City in 1922. She's 85. You do the math. It was a long time ago.
There was no business over here at all. When I was in high school, the hotel that they just tore down was over where the Mexican place is now, and there was a little post office.
Her granddad was a banker from McMinnville. He and his cronies built the first string of houses on the hill, now called McMinnville Row. Dave Baxter remembers coming to Pacific City when it was basically a ghost town.
Yeah, we were 16, so 40 years ago almost. It was nothing here. It was a dive. I thought I'd never come back here again.
For years, Pacific City just lumbered along. A few new homes. Businesses swapped owners after winter cycles and storms drove dreamers away. 10 years ago, a developer moved in, bought up a bunch of property, and started developing the town.
Not a ghost town anymore.
Business is booming.
And now?
And now I live here. Now I work here.
Housing developments are sprouting up faster than townspeople can keep up with. A beach that used to be spotted with an occasional house is now blanketed in a sea of roofing, windows, and other materials.
But I don't think there are any of the old-timers that like it at all. We liked it the way it was.
The days of fishing cabins and tacky stores are over, replaced by Cape Cod homes, Cedar Shake motels, a microbrewery, and swanky shops. Property values are through the roof.
When we came here, high end was between 150 and 200. Now you're looking $300, $400, $500, $600 to $1 million homes in Pacific City.
Even she says the growth is too much, too fast. And she's a realtor. Soon there will be even more development.
Hate it. We don't even talk about that. I'm serious. I absolutely hate it.
A new spa, coffee shops, another restaurant. It's not the sleepy little fishing village it used to be when Dorothy was a kid. This is one lost town had the ghosts chased out of it, and it's highly doubtful that they'll ever find their way back.
I'm Rick Dancer. This is What's Happening Downtown Eugene, and today we have Mayor Kitty Piercy, Eugene Mayor, who opened a can of worms.
Yes.
We're talking about the homeless issue, the travelers issue, kind of downtown focus. As I read it, you took a walk downtown, and what concerned you?
So first of all, I just want to say I'm not in my normal mayor garb.
I love this. This is like our mayor. You know, she's got a ball cap on, but you were to function today.
Today I was up on Spencer's Butte because the new trail opening is wonderful. People should all go. It's a great walk and took a couple hours. It was pretty good.
Well,
yeah.
I think it's very Eugene of you. So
Yeah.
anyway, so you took a walk downtown Eugene, and what concerned you, Mayor?
Well, of course, I've been very a big fan of the reinvigoration of downtown. We have over $300 million in investment in our downtown. I feel very grateful and pleased to see what's going on down here. And as I was walking across, it was a day when there was just a huge amount of people sprawled out all over the sidewalks from one part of town to the other. And I was just feeling like it's hard if we don't find a better way to share our public spaces, because they're being dominated by one group of people, and I want them not to get rid of them, but I want to figure out a way for us all to be able to enjoy our public spaces together in our downtown. It's good for the people who live here, it's good for the people who want to come downtown, and it's good for the people who do business here.
Because we thought we did. We were right. We brought all this business downtown. The city helped, and you targeted.
After
and now
40 years.
Yeah, and there's successful businesses
Yes,
down there.
yes.
And I think a lot of us kind of thought that maybe some of the issues with travelers and people hanging out down there on the mall, that might dissipate a little bit, and it really hasn't. It's just kind of increased. And is that when you kind of think, we need to have a conversation?
And we need to have a conversation. And I also think that some other places have larger downtowns. Our downtown is kind of a relatively small, compressed area for everything to be in. So I think that probably adds to the challenges that we have. And I suppose if you're somebody who is depending on the largesse of others to get through your day, this is the place you'd go. You can't go to Oakway, you can't go to Valley River. Those are privately owned and they won't let you do it. So there's a very limited amount of spaces where you can actually try to panhandle. And so I'm sure that's one of the reasons that people are attracted who are either visiting or find themselves in need of those resources.
And we have restrictions that we can't stop some of the panhandling and that sort of things.
I think people are very confused about that. I don't know how many people I've told about that. They say, just get them out of here. And I go, well, the Oregon Constitution actually says that people have the right to stand or sit on public space. And they also have the right to panhandle. The Oregon Constitution considers that to be asking for a charitable contribution. What they don't have the right to do is step out into traffic. What they don't have the right to do is to be too aggressive towards people and make them feel like they have to defend themselves. That is not protected behavior.
And one of your concerns is that you're hearing from other people who are saying, well, I haven't been downtown because I don't feel safe, or I don't feel comfortable, I feel intimidated because of the travelers that are blocking all over the streets.
And part of that's just a mental set, as you and I have discussed. I have never been accosted by anyone. But I do sometimes walk on the other side of the street because so much of the sidewalk is taken up by a particular group of people that I don't want to have to figure how to maneuver around them. So I will walk on the other side of the street. And I just want to say that we need to have our public spaces be so that everybody can enjoy them and feel like they're pleasant to be at and want to come down to the downtown belongs to all of us. So that's important.
So the Oregonian, in an editorial recently, mentions Eugene Mayor Kitty Piercy. We need her up here talking, opening up this conversation too, because they're having the same sort of issues, more spread out and in different neighborhoods, but they're having the same issues.
Right.
And really what you're asking for is a conversation.
Right. Inviting the public in to say, how do we want it? If this is not a new issue, it's an exacerbated issue, but if we don't want it this way, then what are we willing to do to try to make it better? And not in a law enforcement way or an exclusion way, but in a way of how we share our spaces in a way that works for all of us.
I like what we were talking before you guys joined us, and I had a boss, you and I were kind of agreeing, I had an old boss, Alan Beck, and he used to say at our newsroom, if you don't have a solution, you don't get to come in my office and complain. And you're not saying that, but you're saying, you know, let's bring solutions to the table. Let's.
Well, I think we could all complain. It's easy to complain. Complaining is probably the easiest thing there is to do, and some of us are really good at it.
Yeah, I bet you.
But what I want to invite people to do is to really think about what they think would make it more comfortable for them. How do they have suggestions of how we deal with that, and how do we build that belief that coming downtown is going to be a good experience for everybody. And I'm certainly willing to. I'm guessing there's not going to be one magic bullet kind of answer.
Right.
I think it's going to be a series of things. It could be there are people who are really good at placemaking, how you put things in your community to try to guide what you'd like to have happen. I'd like to have somebody that's professional to take a look and give us their ideas. I'd certainly welcome the public to give me their ideas. I know there are people who would do that, and I've gotten lots and lots of emails from folks. This is not the Register Guard troll line. This is really people sincerely writing and saying, thank you for bringing this topic up. We really need to deal with it. I'm willing to work. I'm willing to think with you about it. Here's a couple suggestions I have for you to put into your thinking. So I appreciate that. That gets us somewhere.
We need a lot of that.
Yeah, we do.
So we're going to continue the conversation on Rick Dancer TV on YouTube. That's all for the show, but we're going to continue this. So if you want to see more of the interview, just go to YouTube, Rick Dancer TV. The next coast town we're going to visit is called Bay Ocean. It's not far from Tillamook. In fact, right now we're standing in what could have been the downtown area. There was a post office, grocery stores, a big indoor wave pool, hundreds of homes. It was going to be the Atlantic City of the West Coast. And this is what's left.
In 1906, a real estate broker from Kansas City forgot that he wasn't in Kansas anymore. He understood the realtor's code that it's all about location, 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 but failed to fully grasp the power of the Pacific Ocean. A sign that leads to the peninsula where Bay Ocean used to sit tells the story.
City of Bay Ocean Park. 1906, T.B. Potter, real estate broker from Kansas City, dreamed of this peninsula being a second Atlantic city.
Jim Bennett is our guide. He lived at Bay Ocean when he was a kid.
Okay, so it came out here and then it got big, and that's where Bay Ocean was.
Yeah, that's where the town was.
Okay.
This is a sketch of what Bay Ocean was going to look like. Plots for homes, businesses, a resort, and places to play.
By 1914, 600 building lots were being sold.
Bay Ocean had its own that would bring visitors from Portland for a weekend of fun.
Consisted of a general store, post office, a three-story hotel, bowling alley, tin shop, and bakery. The hotel had automatic fire sprinklers. There was an auditorium with a pool 50 by 160 feet.
This was the place to be, until something unspeakable, unbelievable, and unbearable began to happen.
All this was Bay Ocean. There's nothing.
Not a piece of concrete, not a water pipe, not a brick, nothing. Mother Nature reclaimed her sand spit. So what went wrong at Bay Ocean?
They built the north jetty and it was fine, but they needed a south jetty to protect the ocean-going vessels and logs and stuff like that. But with just a north jetty, it created the currents to be different.
The community lost it. The change in ocean current became a nightmare. The ocean literally washed Bay Ocean into the sea. Developers went broke, investors lost everything.
Over 20 homes had fallen in the sea by 1949.
Some tried to save their homes.
Of 59 homes and summer cottages, only 5 were moved in time.
You can find them nearby at Cape Mears. Survivors of a disastrous dream dashed by misfortune, bad planning, and an ocean that does what she wants.
Francis B. Mitchell bought the first lot in 1907. He was the last to leave in 1952.
Old-timers say in the end, Mitchell was so distraught, he would carry wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow of sand to the ocean, trying to save the sand spit and his investments.
On February 15, 1960, the last house washed into the sea, and the city of Bay Ocean was but a dream.
Now this was a tough ghost town to find. Idiotville, Oregon. Yes, there was an Idiotville, Oregon. But nobody knows for sure where it was. We had to go back and listen to old urban legends and a lot of gossip. And we had the help of a guide named Jim Rears. Halfway between Forest Grove and Tillamook, over the river, down a logging road, and just this side of a bridge, was a logging camp called Idiotville. It's hard to find someone willing to help you search for this place.
My disclaimer is that I or none of my family have ever lived in Idiotville.
So this is not one of those places that you're from?
No.
Oh, lots of old-timers have heard about it. You know how that goes. It's always someone else. Why Idiotville? So many stories.
They had this camp, and during the '46 fire, decided that they would not evacuate. And so from then on, they said they referred to it as Idiotville because they're going to stay here and burn up.
Or there's this tale.
Another one is that somebody found gold, and there was a gold rush, a minor gold rush. And of course they found out there was no gold here, and so anybody that responded to that was called an idiot, and their camp was Idiotville.
You can see what might have been a road or something like that. Idiotville was way out in the middle of nothing. Oh, there is a creek, named after the town. You guessed it, Idiot Creek.
It was so far away from any place, and only an idiot would want to live and work there. So you pick your money and you take your choice, I guess.
There really was an Idiotville. Even a former governor recognized it.
There are a number of urban legends, if you can have urban legends out in the middle of a forest. And one of them is that they were going to make a forest camp out here for trustees to do work on the forest. And when the governor said or heard that it was going to be at Idiotville, he decided we are not making a correction facility at Idiotville. Now other people think that would be very appropriate.
It's fair to say no one will ever develop Idiotville. Not gonna happen. There's a good chance no one will ever come forward and say they were born here. Imagine that birth certificate. Heck, it's not even a good place to die. To die an idiot? So why are we here?
Is the person who asks to come and look at Idiotville truly the idiot?
Anytime you're in front of a TV camera, I think you're an idiot. That's my personal opinion.
Thanks, Jim.
That makes two of us.